Congrats on making it to yet another Monster Monday, the best way to start your week. Our March of the Machines has come to an end, and we're on to one of my original monsters for this new month. Beautifully illustrated by Seth Monster, this week I'm proud to present a fusion of two classic monsters, the Werebulette. Before we jump into the discussion, I would certainly appreciate it if you could give the video a like and maybe subscribe to the channel. That said, the Werebulette is an original creation of mine that I used in one of my homebrew campaigns. At first it was meant to be a unique monster, a lone encounter, and was the result of a mad scientist. However, in the course of the story, his work has spread and made them a more recurring form of adversary. Werebulettes combine the might and mass of a bulette with the cunning of a humanoid, but are prone to some weird habits and tics, such as overactive salivary glands. I decided to match this creature's level with that of the bulette, while its traits match those of most other were creatures. Though, like with many of the NPC builds I do, I avoided settling on a specific humanoid trait such as human or orc. Being mostly built as a brute, the Werebulette starts off with an extreme strength, which you'll definitely see it throwing around throughout its kit. Its constitution is between high and moderate, while its remaining ability scores are all low or even lower. It is very focused on what it does, and it does that one thing very well. Its savagery and simplicity contributes to a low perception, though it is also equipped with dark vision and scent. The lack of tremor sense might seem strange since it can in fact burrow, but that is actually based on the bulette, which similarly lacks tremor sense. As for the Werebulette's skills, that extreme strength is reflected in an extreme athletics that it makes some serious use of. Its other lower ability scores mean that its other skills lag behind a little, with a moderate intimidation being the next highest, and giving it some alternative options in combat. A low acrobatics and stealth also contribute to that, while its even lower society is entirely there for flavor and letting the Werebulette size up prey. While a Werebulette is covered in a thick, tough hide, there's plenty of gaps in that armor, and they aren't terribly nimble, which leads to the use of a moderate armor class. This also fits in with its brutish design, though at my first pass I definitely didn't give it enough HP. We increased that value after the Monster Mash, equipping it with a high HP, which it definitely needs, since it has that classic were creature weakness to silver, even if it is an artificial werebeast. Its saving throws are pretty basic, and just go down the line. The slightly higher constitution sees it use a high fortitude, but its remaining related ability scores have a similar value. I ended up following the bulette's design with a moderate reflex and finally a low will save. This gives the Werebulette plenty of pressure points for players to punish, but they have to watch out for the Werebulette's response, as we'll see when it comes to its strikes and abilities. Starting with these seriously smashing strikes, our Werebulette has two attacks, based on the same strikes of the bulette, a claw and jaws strike. These both only have a moderate attack bonus, but I wanted to ensure that there was some decent differentiation between these two blows. Given its humanoid size and shape, its claws have the reach trait as well as the agile trait, which is why they only use moderate damage. The grab ability also contributes to this design, and means that there is quite a bit packed in there, so I had to make sure its jaws were equally equipped. They have the fairly new tearing trait to inflict persistent bleed damage, but otherwise simply deal high damage. At first glance it's basic, but the Werebulette does have some unique ways of using them, as we'll see once we get into its abilities. We're going to start off by talking about some of the more commonplace abilities. The Werebulette is equipped with an array of classic were creature features, such as empathy with its base creature and moon frenzy, but perhaps most important is its ability to change shape. However, when a Werebulette changes shape, its skin splits open, its teeth fall out as fangs come in, and any number of horrific alterations that make this, ultimately, a revolting change. Like other changed shapes, this lays out the alternate forms that it can take, but it also forces creatures that witness it to have to make a high DC will save. Failing this leaves foes sickened, which I specifically wanted as a stickier option than something such as Frighten. In addition to being able to use this in combat, the over-aggressive nature of the Werebulette sees it gain Savage Shift. In addition to these were creature abilities, I also included 2 abilities straight from the Bulette. Powerful Jumper, which is pretty basic, and Leaping Charge, which adds some mobility into the were creature's kit that goes outside a little bit of the realm of a brute. Makes it almost a hybrid between a skirmisher and brute, and so there was some consideration to that in its design. Now what this ability actually does is that it equips the Bulette with an opportunity to unleash some gnarly claw strikes at the end of a jump, especially if it can jump that full 20 feet, which shouldn't be hard to do given its athletics. I ended up including some more mobility in the Werebulette's kit in the form of Jaws from Beneath. The inspiration for this ability is obvious, but ultimately it is pure action efficiency. While it has the Flourish trait, it's only a single action and features a burrow, strike, and triggers a grab on a successful hit. This might seem a bit much, but the ability is largely based on the Pounce action, which notably does not have the Flourish trait. So I kind of felt safe adding a tiny bit more juice to this ability at the cost of using that trait. With the grab on its claws and its ability to grapple a creature in its jaws with the previously discussed action, there was one final related ability, Meteoric Slam. This might be my favorite ability, and it requires the Werebulette to have a creature grabbed or restrained in the first place. It then uses its powerful muscles to drive this creature straight into the earth with such force that they leave an impact crater, that they then get stuck in. The Werebulette does have to land a follow-up strike or have a creature grabbed for a whole round to unleash this maneuver, but, as I said, it leaves a creature prone and grabbed by the ground until they escape, while a critical hit just leaves it with a bit more damage. The escape DC to get out of this effect is merely moderate, as grabbed is a pretty brutal effect, and escaping has the attack trait, and I do also want casters and the like to have a chance to escape. I do want to also mention that one of my favorite uses of this ability was the second time that I ran the Werebulettes in my home game, and they used this ability on the champion, leaving him in the dirt as they charged the rest of the party. That ended up being a little bit quicker than I thought it would be. Bursting from below, this burly burrowing behemoth brings Bane and Blight, bashing buddies in an early bird burial before bounding towards belligerents in a bloodthirsty burst. As I've mentioned, I've already used Werebullets in my own campaign, once alongside another weird creature, and then as a pair with a larger party. Both times they were a lot of fun, though our monster mash wasn't quite as smooth. Either way, the Werebulette can serve in a variety of functions since they are mostly humanoids. But if you want another suggestion, you could always run one that has forced a pack of bullets to serve it or at least hunt alongside it. Let me know what you think of this creature and what other creatures you'd like to see in a comment. If you like what you see on the channel and want to see more, check out the Monster Monday blog, which is linked below along with the Twitter and Discord. Thanks for watching, and have a monstrous Monday.